Come on, boy.
Come on.
Come on.
80 kilograms, baby!
Let's go.
I've been training my whole life for this moment.
It's all
What's happening, Five Nation? It's yet another episode of the Champions Blueprint. You know the vibes. It's your boy, Aaron. And guess what? It's a different sporting code. Today is all about the power and the guns, baby. All about the muscle. It's powerlifting. I've got a young man. He's a junior South African champion. His name is Daniel Laubscher. And he's about to teach me about this beautiful place. Some would call it a dungeon. Some would call it a paradise. Honestly, I just see weights. Daniel, talk to me about this place.
This is my favorite place anywhere I've been. It's been a major part of my life, bettering it and just enjoying it. It went from something that I did because I didn't like who I was. So now I picked up powerlifting because I loved it. It's completely changed my life. It's made me healthier, it's made me happier. I always look forward, even if I had a bad day, I look forward, okay, I've come home. I get to do what I want. I get to have fun.
Daniel, we are in your safe space, your happy place. Take me through your warm-up and then I'd love to try some squats. Is that cool with you?
So we're going to start with a bit of spinal activation, just to make sure we don't hurt ourselves during squats and what will come further, just because your back is kind of one of the main things that can get hurt. So we always want to try and keep it warm and fresh. So the first one we'll be doing is a cat camel.
Okay.
You go onto your knees and you can either go onto your fists like I do or like my dad does, which is onto your hands.
Okay.
And then what you want to think about is pushing your head down and then individually pushing your back up from your shoulders and then trying to round your back, so you're trying to open each little space between your back. And then from that, now you pinch it and closing it, so you're trying to now retract, and you lift your head up. And if you're me, you'll feel a bunch of clicking in your back, which is always great.
Okay.
And you'll do it, and we'll do it for about 10 reps.
So Daniel, talk to me about how you fell in love with the sport of powerlifting. You mentioned earlier that you didn't like the person that you were. Who introduced you to the sport, and how did you find so much joy from powerlifting?
So my dad introduced me to the sports back when I was probably 9. Just because at that time I was in a school and I was friends with people I shouldn't have been friends with. They were bad for me mentally. But I was overweight and I just didn't like it. It started impacting my health. I couldn't play sports with my friends.
Yeah.
But the people who were my good friends, I couldn't play sports with them. So I came here, I'm like, I want to lose weight, I want to better myself. And then over time, over the progress of about 6 months, my dad started putting powerlifting stuff into my thing, and I started enjoying it. It started making me happy. It made me feel better for who I was than from what I was. So I enjoyed it, and then from here it just kind of stuck for about 2 years now. And obviously now in the past year I've been seriously training, trying to get to the highest level I can. So no excuses like, I don't want to do it today.
Yeah.
And then obviously I don't want to hold you up. So the next one is world's greatest. So you can choose which knee. I preferably start with my left leg because my left leg's tighter. Lift it forward, put your hand down, and now from this position you want to try and bring your elbows down to your ankle.
Okay.
So you want to roll down, and you can turn your leg out if it's tight, and then you want to roll yourself up. But you want to do it slowly, and you want to follow your hand. So your spine and your back move in one, and then that also helps with your back, but it helps with your shoulders and helps with your legs as well. You can do them for 5 and 6.
No worries. So the one thing that I've noticed about powerlifters is that they're not necessarily as chiseled as bodybuilders. Would you say the physique doesn't necessarily matter in the sport of powerlifting?
So depending on the weight category, yes. But the main reason the physique doesn't matter is because we don't care about how we look going into it. It's more about, okay, how close can I get to the limit? How close can I get to breaking the rules?
Yeah.
So that I'm in the rules, but I'm not breaking it, but I have then the most advantage I can to compete. So that's like me when I'm competing. My walking weight's about 65 kilos, but towards competition, I'll bump myself all the way up to 67 or 67.3. I'll get as close as I can to the limit, so I just have that much of an extra advantage. And then obviously for the bigger dudes who compete at heavier weight categories, that extra weight and extra plover helps with, especially a lot with deadlifts and squats, because there's more to brace on.
Yes.
So the people who compete at lower categories, like 52, there's not much to brace into.
In terms of the last 2 years, you mentioned that you've been competing for the last 2 years, started last year, and then this year you actually started to take it a lot more seriously. What was that mental switch for you to say that instead of just like training all the time, I actually want to make the switch to compete? And then of course you being able to win a national title.
It happened naturally with the... So my dad's always talked about competing. Last year there was the Durban Nationals. I went there to Durban around about my term 3s at school. So it was a mini holiday after holiday, so I really loved it. But just in the environment, you meet more people, you make more connections, you meet nice people, and you learn so much about the sport, and you learn so much about other people. So it just naturally kind of happened like, I want to compete this year. I want to try it. Yeah, no, I've enjoyed it ever since. And then my first ever competition was a pretty good lead up. I set 4 national records on the day. So I set 9, but I think I still hold the 4. And then at the last time nationals, obviously it was a bit rocky going up to it, but squats amazed me because my heaviest squat I'd ever done at that point is 120 kilos.
Yeah.
And I was able to just bump it up to get the national records of 122.5. Bench, I stuck with what I had, which was nice. And deadlifts, I didn't get as heavy as I wanted, but again, like my dad says, you do it because you love it, not because the result matters.
Yeah.
The last warm-up, this is crucial for me because I've had shoulder issues for a bit now, is or band rotations or band extensions. You fold the band like this, stick it down to about your elbow length, and you try and, or about halfway form, and you push out. Now you want to bring it back, and without falling forward like this, or bringing your shoulders back like this, keep your shoulders out and move it forward until you feel stretch in your mid-back. And you want to do it for at least 10. I hate these so much, look. they burn my shoulders so much.
Your face is even turning red.
Yeah. It's about as much as I need to do because I've had fitness already.
So how vital is it to warm up? And I know that any athlete will tell you about injuries. Have you suffered any injuries in?
So I'm lucky enough I haven't suffered injuries in training. Ask anyone though, I suffered plenty out of it. But no, 100%, especially with like my shoulders and my knees, I have to warm up, otherwise just the lift isn't there properly. I dread going into it sometimes because it's like, well, this doesn't feel good, so I don't think I'm going to do good there. So the warm-up it's crucial for your mental game. It's really crucial to prevent injury. You have to put intent to it so you don't injure yourself or hurt yourself going into the lift. On the mental aspect, you don't feel comfortable going to it, as I said. But then if you injure yourself, the mental aspect afterwards is like, oh, I didn't do it properly, and now you start to doubt yourself, and then doubt creeps in more and more and more, and then eventually it'll be a bad training session. So now that we're done with our warm-up, we'll be moving on to squats.
So I've heard that squatting is one of your specialities. Take me through your squatting routine. And I see you're protecting your knees.
So this is knee sleeve or squat sleeve, whatever you want to call it. This is mainly just people say it can prevent injury. I've used it more to make sure to make myself feel more confident going into the lift. Also keeps your knees warm. So for me, keeping your knees warm so I can go into reps, which I've started now, which are a little bit tighter and a little bit more springy. These are so you keep your knees warm and you feel fresh in the squats so you don't hurt yourself. There's a whole bunch of reasons why we use sleeves. But the squats, now this is workout. Ooh.
Sure, seems like there's quite a technique when you put those on. Eh?
Unfortunately, they are, especially if you... So these ones are a little bit more hues than my sleeves.
Yeah.
These are mediums. So they slide on a little bit easier than mine. But no, these are crucial. Well, you don't have to squat in them. It's not a regulation that you have to squat in them. But it is... You don't go to a competition. You don't go to a meet. You don't go to a powerlifting gym and you don't and you see someone who squats, you won't see someone without sleeves on.
So for someone like me who's starting out, would you recommend that one gets a pair, or can I just do it without?
You can do without. I squatted without sleeves for 2 years.
Okay.
I only started putting on sleeves when I was like, okay, I'm doing the powerlifting now. I have to get as much advantage as I can. I need to get as strong as I can. And then I just took an old pair of sleeves from my dad's friend. And yeah, I've been using them now for a year. Starting to move on to wraps now, which obviously I said are the springier and tighter version.
Yeah.
Now we will be moving on to our squat.
The exciting part.
Yeah, the exciting part.
Take me through the technique. So I'm quite excited. You're about to show me how to do the squats. I'm a little bit nervous, but apparently you're the best in the business. So take me through the technique.
There are 3 variations of squat mainly. It's high bar, low bar, and mid bar.
Okay.
That refers to where your bar sits on your back. High bar is just above your traps. Mid bar is on your traps, and low bar is obviously then a little bit below your traps, or just on the lower end of your traps. It also refers to your stance. You got a low bar stance, which is wide because the weight's now pulling you forward, or not pulling you forward. High bar, it's a narrower stance because the bar pulls you forward. And the mid bar is sort of in between. It's the bar's in the middle, so you're not falling forward as much, but you're not falling backward as much, and you can have your feet in the middle. Then now with the squats, there's obviously you have to make sure you're straight lining up into the bar, and you have to make sure you're straight. So your shoulders have to be tucked, your elbows have to be tucked, your back has to be tight. Now, from the squat, what a lot of people make mistakes on is one I used to make the mistake is walking out too far. So if you now do a heavy set and you've walked out too far, re-racking it becomes a nightmare. And sometimes you miss the rack and then you fail. But the main issue people have is when they squat, they don't shoot their hips back a little before going down. So they go straight down, which causes them to fall forward. So what is crucial is popping your hip back and then moving down. And then obviously you get your commands from here, which would be your lockout, knees, start, and then when you get to the top, rack.
Yeah. Is it better to warm up without any weights on the actual bar?
Yeah, you always, every time you work up to weights on the bar, you always start with the bar. No matter how strong you get, even the strongest powerlifters like Colton, or the strongest people in the world like Thor and Eddie Hall, they all start with the bar because it's there to make sure you don't hurt yourself. It's there to warm you up. It's crucial in the squat.
Let me jump in. Let me try it. You have to monitor my technique here. So that's me picking up the bar. Not too far out.
Maybe shift a little bit back. Just
A little bit more back.
There we go. That's fine.
Okay, cool. How's that, coach?
Yeah, it was good.
So you've been competing for the last 2 years. Do you ever get scared or doubt any amount of weight that you're about to lift in a competition? Or is it one of those where in a competition you'll never lift more than what you've lifted in training?
So I will get to that, but there's one thing I have to critique quickly on your squats.
Okay.
You have got a high bar stance.
Okay.
And your feet are not too wide, but they're decently wide.
Okay.
You can see when you're going down, your heels are lifting up. And you want
Right.
to prevent that. You want to get flat-footed so you're as strong as you are on the squat. So that's where you'll put your bomb back out. So put your hips
Okay.
out before you squat. Because if you start the squat, then you're going straight down and it's lifting your knees. Or lifting your heels.
I'm still lifting them. Okay.
Yeah. But obviously, so maybe it also has to do maybe flaring your feet out a
Okay.
little bit wider. So now try that.
Much better.
Yeah, it's better.
Much better.
So with getting doubts going into it, at the start of the competition, like my first competition, I was the opener, meaning I was the first person to lift in the whole competition. And that had me anxious as hell. I was so scared. I was nervous, like what if I fail in front of everyone? But the more and more I lift and the more and more I compete, the less I'm worried about going into the lift, and I'm not so anxious, like what if I don't lift this? Because I know, okay, I'll lift this. I have to have that confident mindset,
Put
but
some
I
weight.
also have to have the cautious mindset. Yeah, as just the more and more, like you'll see it with most people. Some people still, like I know some people were still going into a comp, no matter if they've been competing for like 10, 15 years, they can still get a bit anxious going up to it. I don't anymore. I get anxious leading up to the competition, but on competition day, I'm fine and I'm calm. I'm just excited to be there. I'm ready to lift.
Should I start off on the 5?
Yes, because I will be going a bit heavier than this.
Okay. We'll leave the big weights to the pros.
Yeah.
Then in terms of diet, that's always a big thing for athletes. In terms of your diet, how does that change between training and competition day?
Diets, I haven't had to worry too much about dieting. I just have to measure my food, weigh it out. I haven't had to worry about calorie tracking just yet. My walking weight is very close to my competing weight, so we're not too stressed about that. Then quick question, what do you want to do? So you wanted to do about a 50 kilo or 40 kilo squat.
Well, we can go,
So how many reps do you want to do it for? Do you want to do a single or a double?
let's say 3.
3.
Yes.
Okay, then I think after this rep you've done enough at 30.
Okay.
Then at 40 we will do a double, and then at 50 we can do the triple.
So, Daniel, now that we're done with the warm-up, let's move on to the big weights. Let's go. I'm ready.
Okay, let's see what you can do.
Sure. Taking on a national champion here. I'm getting a little bit nervous.
Well, I don't know if your choice of competition was exactly a smart one. I mean, I'm only probably one of the best squatters in my weight category right now. I mean, I hold the national record for it, so...
Sure.
Would you do me a favor, though? Would you put the clip on this side, though?
No stress, I got you. It's time to play with the big boys.
Yeah? It's still little.
Oh, sorry, sir. Clearly, I'm not on your level.
I'm joking. Everyone starts somewhere.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Making it look easy. Yo.
Well, you don't want to start out too hard, because if you start warming up and it's too heavy, it can screw up the rest of your lift because you won't be ready, or you'll be too exhausted by the time you get to your actual weight. That's why a proper planning of what weight you do is more important than...
Are we taking this one off?
Yeah, because this is 50.
Is this 50?
Yes.
It says 10 here.
10, and there's a 5 here.
Oh, 15.
So there's 15 in total.
I think I can do 15.
50, that's 50 kilos.
15 or 50?
No, in total, this is 50 kilos with this on the bar. This is
I want to try this one.
You want to try this
Yes.
one? Okay, so your 30 was good.
Oh.
You were warm.
Clearly, I don't do this for a living. I forgot that the bar is 20.
Yes, the bar is 20 kilos.
Oh, okay. But let me try.
So then if you're going to do 50 kilos now, do it for a double. If it's good, I'll say go for a triple. It's a common thing you have to do. If you have like a spotter, I do it. If it's a weight that you're uncertain about, it's like, okay, do this amount at a minimum, and then if I think you have enough, I'll call it. Because you always think it's harder when you're doing it than versus what it actually is.
Okay. I just don't want to die, hey?
No, so do you want me to spot you then?
No, I think I'm fine. I think I'm cool.
Okay.
Woo! Okay.
Up.
Woohoo!
Yeah, easily, you can go for another one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there. That was nice.
Felt very nice.
Yeah.
So the one thing I noticed there is, as I was doing it, it
Knees
sounded
were
like
popping.
my knees were popping. Why does that happen?
They're warming up.
They're warming up.
Yeah.
Oh,
My
hectic.
knees pop, my dad's knees pop, or they all pop.
So that's normal.
It's normal. So not everyone pops, but if you're cold, so if you haven't worked out in a while, or let's say you're getting into working out, your knees will start to pop at the start, and your joints in general will pop at the start because you're not used to moving that weight, and your knees aren't used to that sort of pressure, so they start to warm up and they start to click and pop when you get to that weight.
All right. Let's do one more big one for you.
One more big one.
One more big one for you. The belt is coming on.
Yeah. After the first warm up, I tend to get my belt on just to be safe. Extra bracing is always nice.
So, 80 kilograms. Your belt is on. Let's see if you can do it. Oof. Wow. On a scale of 1 to 10, how heavy is that? Should I try it?
No, don't try it.
I love the honesty. Let me try 60.
60. But then it's only for a single now.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always, we
Yes.
always have to play it safe.
All right, Daniel just did 80 kilograms. Let me try 60. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'll give it my best. If I die, please, medical aid, do the right things.
Hopefully you won't die because I'll be behind you spotting you.
Okay, I've got some extra support. All right.
Brace
Woo.
before you lock out.
Okay. Woo! I'm feeling it already.
Easy. You
Okay.
can get a second.
Woo!
You want a third? Okay, you're gonna go for a third. Okay, all right.
That's it. I think I can
Nice.
actually do 80 though, but I think I can do one more.
Do you think?
Yes.
One more.
Just one more on
What?
80.
Single on 80.
Yes. I think I can do just one.
Okay. Just one.
I want to try it. So I've challenged myself, pushing 80 kilograms. This is going to be a big squat. Let's see if I can do it. Daniel, you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. Okay. Woo!
Easy.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Ooh,
Okay, I rack.
that's it. Nice. So now that we've mastered the squats, I think it's time for us to move on to the bench. I think I can do a little bit better over here. But throughout your journey in the last 2 years, you mentioned a specific individual that has been a great mentor to you throughout your journey. And he's also a 3-time world champion, has broken numerous South African records. I'm sure you know this guy. I'd like to surprise you.
What are you doing here, Dad?
Wayne Laubscher,
Aaron,
how are you?
get yourself, man.
Good, good.
Lekker, thanks for having me.
Talk to me about your son at the age of 16 being a national record holder. I'm sure it has to be the mentoring that you've done on the side.
You know, I'd love to take a lot of credit for it, but to be honest, the man's, and I say the man with honesty, he's shown up in the last sort of 18 months of training. I'm very proud of him. He's really been dedicated to the sport, but he's really changed himself. Like all the success he's had is on him. I've just been a little bit of a guide along the way, sort of opening doors for him to step through.
You talk about being a guide. I'd love to perfect the bench. Can you please take me through the proper technique of how to actually
Get a strong bench.
perfect this chest and build a bigger chest?
Perfect. So there's going to be a couple of changes from what you're used to doing in like a normal gym or like a health center. We're going to really try working getting into a good strong position, trying to make sure that we get a little bit of an arch to protect the shoulders and a little bit of a pause because we're going to do it like it's a competition, and then a nice strong finish.
Let's go for it.
Perfect. Cool.
Let's go for
So
it.
first thing, lie down on the bench. Okay, so now what I want you to do is you're going to take a grip probably slightly wider than shoulder width. So normally we would have the guys, so take a grip like you'd normally take.
Like, I normally use the markers.
Okay, so that's perfect. Now I want you to go like a centimeter wider than that. Perfect. Okay. Now, here's the struggle. I want you to try to pull your feet as far back underneath you as much. So you almost have to kind of extend your spine a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Now, I want you now to try to push yourself back just a little bit. Okay. Now you should feel there's a little bit of an arch has been created here. You can drive your heels into the ground so you can get a bit of leg press, leg drive. Okay, now for all we're going to do from here, you're going to take a big breath, unrack the bar. Okay, now you're going to bring it down just to the sternum. Pause and now press back up over your shoulders. Boom. There we go. So now you can see your press, you went a little bit straight up. I want you to finish your press so you stacked here.
Okay.
So now your wrist is above your elbows, is above your shoulders. So now this is a stacked position. So to sternum and then above shoulders. And press. There
Boom.
we go. Let's do one more. And up.
Nice.
Cool. Now we can rack it. Now, can you kind of feel the difference between that and your sort of traditional
Yes.
health center bench press?
I can definitely feel it.
Fantastic.
The one thing that Daniel mentioned earlier, he spoke about the sport almost being an opportunity for him to change his life, you know. What has powerlifting done for you, and how have you almost become a better man through the sport?
Like powerlifting, I find it's one of those sports that lends itself to resilient people or to building resilience. So, I mean, we've had a conversation before around about some of my health challenges in the past. But powerlifting teaches people to be resilient, to be adaptable. It also teaches people about falling in love with process more than outcome, which for me has been a game changer as a parent, as a husband, as an employee. It's learning to be focused on what you're doing, finding joy in what you're doing, not so much in terms of what the outcome is. Because a lot of the times the things that we do in life, the outcome is something that we can't control. I mean, we can put effort in and we can plan and we can do everything we possibly can. But sometimes the outcome is it's a negative. And if we judge our happiness based on that, you'll be perpetually sad. But if you fall in love with what you're doing and why you're doing it, then you can always find joy and you can always progress it, because there's always ways to get a little bit better at something.
In terms of the next competition, it is a big one.
Yep.
World Champs in November. You'll be competing alongside your son.
Yeah.
It's his first competition as well. This podcast is all about the Champions Blueprint. Now, heading into a big international competition, yes, he's done well at nationals, but now he's taking that next step, which is international. Is there any tips, advice, or a blueprint that you could share with him ahead of his first big competition?
100%. And, it's something that we've worked on with training the whole time, is that you're only as good as the systems that you have in place. So that's why in training we're very specific in terms of the numbers that we're trying to hit, the way we perform our movements, the technique. Because if you can build everything, if you can build a system, a process that you can rely on, then you have evidence that when you get into a competition, you know exactly how things are feeling. So you've spoken to me before in terms of if the warm-up isn't feeling great. Well, we know we've had training sessions where warm-ups don't feel great, and we know how to adjust on that. And if you can just focus on the work that you have done, then you don't have to worry about what will happen on the day. That'll take care of itself.
Let's move on to the bench.
Yep.
I'd love to get going a little bit.
Perfect.
Let's get some weights on.
Okay, cool. So what have we got in mind? So if you squatted 80, I'm thinking there's probably a 50 kilo bench, maybe a little bit more. Okay.
Let's start off with the 50 kilo bench.
Okay, cool.
50 kilo bench.
So we're going to go through sort of a quickish warm-up. So we'll do the setup the way we've got. We'll do 3 with just the bar, and then we'll start putting a bit of weight on. I think Dan can jump in and join us with this, eh?
Perfect.
Cool. Awesome. So
Nice.
grip on, slightly wider than what you're used to. Trying to pull our feet back underneath us to help create that arch. Pull yourself a little bit lower here. Now you should be able to drive your heels down so you can use a bit of leg drive. Unrack. Okay, I'm going to take it down to the sternum. Press. Down to the sternum. Press. And one more. Down to the sternum. Press. Perfect.
Nice.
Cool. Okay, so I think you can jump off and we can get Dan warming up.
Perfect. Let's get Dan in there. Daniel, are there any questions that you would like to ask your dad heading into the big competition that lies ahead in November? I'm sure there might be a few questions that you haven't asked him that have been bothering you ahead of this competition.
Yeah, so there are actually 3 big ones. So I feel sometimes I can make mistakes when I'm in the competition in terms of what I've eaten, what I've drunk, and I feel like maybe I have to go to the bathroom too many times, or I'm not fueled enough when I'm going into lift. Is there any sort of help you can give me with that? And then just how do I overcome the overthinking of going into that lift as well? Like, how do I think that, yes, I can do this? Well, not maybe not yes, I can do it, but not overthink about what could go wrong.
So with the nutrition thing, it'll be focusing on just doing what we've done before. So on a competition day, we never want to walk in and think, okay, well, I'm going to eat something I've never eaten before, because we don't know how it's going to react with our body. So, I've seen people go into competitions and they fuel themselves through the day by eating chocolates and muffins and all sorts of sugary things because they think that'll help them with energy. But if they're not used to it, the body tends to have a negative reaction, and that's where guys will either crash out energy-wise, or they end up having to run, like you said, to the bathroom a bit often. So what we'll focus on is making sure that at the competition day you are well hydrated, we've got lots of electrolytes to keep your system balanced, and we're eating foods that you're used to and that it's easy to digest. So peanut butter and honey sandwiches for the win, all day, every day. In terms of overcoming anxiety in the warm-ups and in the competition, again, it's learning to focus on the things that you've already done. So I myself have felt it, where you've gone through a warm-up, you get to your opening lift, and all of a sudden you get the heart pounding, a little bit nervous, the palms get a bit sweaty. First advice is to think, okay, well, have you done this before? Because we know our opening lift is always something we've always done before. Yeah. The opener is something we should be guaranteed. But if you're still nervous, then it's knowing that, one, you stick to the plan, but know that the plan can change. And that's a conversation we have with each other on the platform to say, well, if you're nervous about this, what are you confident about? And we start with where you're confident. Because you can always build, but if you mess up in the beginning, it's hard to recover from that.
Just one more question is this is more of a personal thing. So how do you go into the competition being comfortable, being able to relax? Obviously not when you're lifting, maybe between flights, but not being over prepared, so you're not hauling everything with you and bringing stuff that you shouldn't actually need.
So in terms of having stuff with your competition, it's really about planning. So you're right to list out in terms of what do I need for the actual competition and what do I need to take with me. I mean, we did the competition in Benoni, and we knew it was going to be cold, so we took our blankets and our dressing gowns.
Everyone was jealous.
Everyone was jealous of two guys rocking up in dressing gowns in Benoni, but it worked out for us.
Yeah.
So if you plan everything properly, you'll be fine. And then in terms of on the competition day, trying to regulate yourself, again, it's really just about trying to have honest conversations about how you're feeling and trying to understand how you are feeling. So when we get ready for a lift, you try to hype up, try to bring a little bit of excitement, try to bring that sensation and that stimulation. And then in between flights, it's really about going, okay, well, how can I bring myself down? And a lot of that is really just looking at how are we breathing, are we visualizing ourselves correctly, are we giving ourselves space to just enjoy the moment. I think the biggest thing a lot of people get caught up is in powerlifting competitions is they're so focused on, am I going to win it, am I going to PB, am I going to get the gold? And they forget that they're blessed to be able to be at a competition, meeting some insanely strong people, some amazingly great people, and they get lost looking for the outcome and forget about just being in the moment. And if you can be in the moment, again, it doesn't matter what happened, you'll have a great day.
Thanks. I feel like that helps me and might help a lot of other people, even if they're not competing. Maybe just showing up.
100%. Let's do some lifting.
Okay, so Dan, 3 on the bar, and then we'll put on a little bit of weight. So now, Aaron, you can check with Dan's technique. He's worked really hard on it, trying to get his leg drive with his heels, and he's trying to make sure that his elbows, wrists, and shoulders are all stacked. Cool. Okay, let's go 30 kilograms. So we'll put on...
Let's do it.
We'll put on the red bumpers.
So in terms of technique, Wayne, does the bar always have to touch your chest?
Yeah.
So in a powerlifting competition, there's a couple of rules. So the bar has to touch your chest, and it has to get stationary on the chest. So it's not touch and go, so you can't just do that.
Like tap,
Yeah, so the referee will actually give you a command. So in our federation, you can start as soon as you're ready, but then you've got to wait for them to say press before you can press it. And then you have to wait for them to say rack before you can put it back in the rack. The other rule that we have is that your bum can't come off the bench when you're doing your bench press.
Okay.
Yeah, so it has to get to the chest, bum has to stay down, and your feet have to kind of stay in place.
Okay,
Perfect.
let's do it.
Okay, so let's go for, this will probably be an easy 3 for you. I think you're strong today.
Yeah, we should be all right.
Cool.
Nice and easy.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Simple. Simple. Okay.
Good warm up.
Cool. Dan, you want to get to 40?
Well, let's go to 40.
Cool. We'll take you to 40 on your next one as well, Aaron. Okay, so let's go for, look, he's strong. So let's see, let's do 2 here and see maybe a third one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and give it a little bit of cues and coaching as we go in. So before we take it off, so remember, feet back, pull yourself so that your eyes are sort of directly under the bar. So it should actually feel a little bit uncomfortable. Okay. Cool.
Okay. Not too bad.
Yeah, let's do one more. Cool. And
Nice.
racket. Okay.
So Wayne, the one thing that I've also wondered is in terms of different competitions. So often they talk about a strongman competition, or they talk about powerlifting. What's the difference between a strongman competition and powerlifting?
So they're both strength sports, but they've got different events and different rules. So powerlifting is based on the squat, the bench press, and the deadlift, and they've got very specific rules within the federations. It's a static sport, so we don't move. All we're doing is we're trying to move the most amount of weight we possibly can. Strongman is a lot more dynamic in terms that they have moving events as well as strength events. Strongman tends to not have a bench press, but they'll do things like squats and deadlifts, and they'll do overhead presses, and they do loaded carries and things, and their rules are slightly different. So like in powerlifting for a deadlift, you're not allowed to hitch the weight. So what that means is that when you're picking the bar up, if it gets stuck on your thighs, you can't bounce it up. In strongman, you can. In strongman, it doesn't matter how you get it up as long as you get it into this position. So strongman is a lot more dynamic, a lot more probably visually appealing, but it's a different sport. Yeah.
Interesting. Let's stack up the weights.
50 kilos?
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go.
I think Aaron's gonna.
I think I'm feeling good today for some reason.
It's the power of the gym.
The power of the gym.
The grindhouse. Always such a nice name.
Yeah, so the gym is informally named the Grindhouse.
The grindhouse.
Okay.
Okay.
So now we're going to go for one here because I think we can probably get close to a 60 kilo bench out of you today.
Okay.
Cool.
Please don't kill me, Wayne.
No, 100%.
Okay.
Okay, so remember, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, easy. Okay, 2. Someone's showing off now. Eh? Cool.
Nice.
Okay. I think Dan is benching on Saturday, so I need to keep him back a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
Do 50.
You want to do a 50?
I'll do 50.
Okay, cool. Let's do a 50. So
Okay.
start racking up. So, your bench is looking fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Not too bad.
Not bad for somebody who's been out of it for a while, hey?
Like a good 6 months.
Yeah.
A good 6 months.
Yeah. Maybe the rest has been good for you.
The rest has been fantastic. Wayne, in terms of your big competition that lies ahead
Yeah.
in December, you're also competing at Worlds and international competition. You've been training at least for around about 9 to 10 years.
Yep.
It's a big one for you. How special is it for you to reach this stage, and also knowing that this is your first big competition? You've broken numerous records, but this should feel a little bit different.
So I've tried not to think about it too much and try to approach it that it's just another competition, because I don't want to get stuck in the mindset of having additional pressure because it's a world championships. But I'm incredibly grateful to have the opportunity. I'm incredibly grateful that we're hosting it in South Africa this year. I'm super excited for it, and also the fact that my first world championships and my son's first world championships are the same. I mean, for me, it doesn't matter what happens on the day for me. I'm there with my boy, and that's what's going to be special about it. Yeah, easy. Oof. Cool. Rack.
Nice. Nice.
Shoulders
Okay.
are burning. I can feel it now.
So we're going to go for one more big one, eh?
One more big one.
I think there's a 60 kilo bench there.
60.
60 kilos.
You're 50.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Let's.
We
I
saw what
think
you did with
there's-
an 80 kilo squat.
It's probably like a 70, to be honest. It's probably like a 70.
You think there's a 70 there?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool.
Let's do a 70.
Let's go. One more bench. Let's go.
Dale, if I die, it's on you. What is
So,
this?
This is 70 kilos.
So in total it's 320s because of the bar.
This just looks big.
That's the joy of bumpers.
Yeah.
So look, what I'll do on this one is I'm going to help you hand off, and I'll just follow you the whole time.
Okay. Happiness.
And the rule is that if you do get pinned and you do die, we'll put an extra 20 kilos on before we call the ambulance.
To make it look more impressive, obviously.
Let's go.
70.
70 kilos, nice and easy. Okay, so we're
Let's
going to
go.
focus on getting a good strong setup. Woo! So feet underneath you, eyes under the bar.
Whew. So, are there any medals available in case I lift this? Or a ticket to World Champs, maybe?
I'll put you on the invitation list.
Let's do this.
Okay.
Let me not get too cocky now.
Okay, so feet underneath you, eyes under the bar, so pull yourself down a little bit.
Okay. Woo.
Okay.
Lekker. Gaat ons.
Yeah, look at that. One more.
Oh!
Good. Not quite competition standard, but fantastic. Nice work.
70. Yo, that was crazy. Wayne, as we wrap up the conversation, and Daniel as well, I know that a big competition lies ahead for you guys, but so often on this podcast we talk about the blueprint.
Yeah.
Yes, you can be a phenomenal athlete, but to me, there's a blueprint to life. And I believe that the lessons that you learn in sport can also be translated to life. If you were to say, if there's one thing that one can use in life that you've learned through powerlifting and that blueprint that you can share?
So for me, it's understanding that you are probably capable of much more than you think you are. And how you get there is by showing up consistently. So it doesn't mean you have to have a Herculean effort the whole time, but you just got to show up consistently. And if you put enough small wins in front of you, you eventually get the big one.
From you, Daniel, some of the lessons that you've learned from the sport of powerlifting. I know that you're just 16, but I'm sure that there's something that you will carry throughout your whole life that you've learned through this beautiful sport.
So I can go on about of how it makes you more confident, how it makes you happy, and how there's so many things you can apply to. But I think the biggest thing you can use from this is how to recover from failure. Because especially in powerlifting and any sort of working out, you will eventually fail something, and how you recoup from that and get back to where you were is more important than anything else, because then it shows that you're ready to improve and you're ready to accept, okay, maybe not today, but definitely tomorrow, or maybe another time. But you eventually will get there, and that can be applied then to real life. Maybe you don't do as well in something as you wanted to do in real life, and then you learning from that, learning from failing here, you can learn how to move on from failure there, or how to recoup and move on from failure.
Daniel, Wayne, I'm wishing you all the best for the World Champs that lie ahead in November, and I'm sure both of you will compete at the highest level, and I'm sure you'll bring back a gold, maybe a silver, at the least.
Yeah.
At the least.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me on the Champions Blueprint,
Thank you for coming.
Aaron, thanks so much, bud.
and all the best.
Thank you.